Okay, guys, I asked ChatGPT to tell me what makes a good journalist because it's the quickest, shortest way for us to get an overview on the topic. So let's respond to what ChatGPT said makes a good journalist. Right now, we're on persistence and diligence. I asked, what makes a good journalist? And it told me these things: persistence and diligence. And this is my first time reading this, so I'm reacting along with you guys. They are thorough in their research, follow leads rigorously, and aren't afraid to pursue challenging and uncomfortable stories. This resilience helps uncover and expose issues that might otherwise remain hidden. Okay, I agree. Thorough in research. And I would say that more important than being thorough is being able to find contradictions and be able to find things that are unlikely. So, not to pick on Tim Walls, but this is just an example of something that it's not proof of anything wrong, but it's an indication. When they did a publicity thing where he and AOC, what's her name, Ocasio Cortez, were playing Madden football, and it was supposed to be like it's kind of a PR thing, like humanizing him. And he said some stuff that made me think he's never watched a game of football in his life or coached it. And he's a coach. He's a football coach. But I'm looking at that and I'm just like, I don't hear people don't talk about plays like that. They just don't use those words, right? And it made me think if I didn't know, if the news media hadn't told me he's a coach, a high school football coach, I would never have guessed that. I would have thought he's never watched a game. Maybe he's watched a game, but he wasn't really into it. He hasn't absorbed the language or the culture of football, and that doesn't tell me, oh, here's the proof that he was never a football coach. But if I'm a journalist and I'm looking into that, I might be like, whoa, wait a second, that doesn't sound right. And it just like sets off something in your gut that tells you something doesn't match up. And that's when you get curious and you go out there and you start looking around and you're trying to find out why doesn't he sound like he knows anything about football when the news media told me he is a football coach and was a football coach. So I can easily probably look up that bio information and find out where he was a football coach. And I can do some investigating, and that leads me down the right path. So when we talk about being thorough in their research, part of that's just like thorough until your curiosity is satisfied. It's you having curiosity that gets piqued by things like that. And then you research it until you're done, right? Until you get an answer. And you've resolved whatever conflict that is in your gut. Or just the logical conflict that you see. So, in my example, there's someone who said, he might have been just nervous and he couldn't think of the words. And he says, "Oh, she runs a mean, or she runs a good pick six." And it's like nobody says that. Usually, when you run plays, you're on offense. You're not on defense. You're not running a pick six. It's opportunistic. You catch the ball and then you do what you can. Um, and that's why you don't really hear people say so and so ran a pick six. It's like, well, all right. I mean, sure, but it's not something that the culture usually. And so but it's not proof. It's not proof that he's not a football coach. It's not proof that he doesn't know football. He could have been nervous. He could have just been stumbling over his words a little bit. There are other explanations, right? So, but you will, when you hear things, you will be thorough and you'll find out. Follow leads rigorously. I don't like using words like rigorously because this doesn't tell you how to follow leads. So I'm going to tell you follow leads until your curiosity is satisfied, and aren't afraid to pursue challenging or uncomfortable stories. Okay. Yeah, so how do you choose which stories that are worth the challenge and discomfort is you you decide what you're about and you decide where you see problems, and you're going to go after those problems in the industry that you're covering or the segment you're covering or whatever. Personally, I think in Twin Falls County, I think we need a lot more business journalism because I think the business journalism would would be uncovering needs, uh, economic needs in the area, and creating ideas for more businesses and more nonprofits. Like if we can uncover problems, we can create those we can let the area know, hey, we need nonprofits. Hey, we need businesses to fill the hole here. And so we need more business journalists. We need more economists in the area who can really make sense of things, and really help us to solve problems for our neighbors. That's what we're all about, right? So yeah, so that's persistence and diligence. And I think next time we're going to talk about empathy and fairness, which ought to be interesting because I have some thoughts on the word empathy. Let's see where we go with that.